Okay, the next characteristic of the graphs of functions we're going to look at is called boundedness. And boundedness has to do with the output. So we're looking at the y values. All right. And I'm going to start with the second one here. It says, we look at this graph and we follow this graph along and we realize that there is a minimum, or what we call a lower bound. A lower bound. And what we say is this one is bounded below. So there's a minimum output. There's no y values from this point on. So I'm just reading off, looking at points on the graph and looking at their y values, and I see that every y value is above this lower point. So we call that the lower bound, and we say that this is bounded below. The next one, all right, we realize that those values keep going on and on and on. So as I'm reading on the y, or the outputs, I realize that there's a kind of a maximum value or an upper bound. And this one, what we say is it is bounded above. So every output is below this upper bound. So it's bounded above. And then some you'll get are bounded. So it looks like all the y values fall below that line and above that line. So there's both bounded above and bounded below. So all our outputs are going to fall in this region. So we say that it's just simply bounded. Now, if I go back to the first one, you'll see that those outputs go on forever. So all the way, an output of y equals positive infinity. Those go down forever. So they go down, all the possible outputs for y are negative, so they're not bounded. So an example is right here. So we look at the graph 3x squared minus 4, and we see that every output, every y value is going to be above y equals negative 4. So we say the function, all right, it's bounded below, it's got a lower bound, and it's bounded below. Where is the bound? Is the bound above or bound below? Is definitely bounded below. And what we say is the function, the output f of x, is always greater than or equal to negative 4. So we look at that output value and put it here. Another one is this function x divided by 1 plus x squared. To me, this looks like there's an upper bound, right, at y equals 0.5, and there's a lower bound at y equals a negative 0.5. So we say this is bounded because there's both an upper and a lower bound. And what we say is f of x is less than or equal to 0.5 and greater than or equal to a negative 0.5. Boundedness. Boundedness has to do with the output, the y values. What are the greatest y values? What are the least y values that can come out of a function?